Welcome to Feed Your Lion. I'm Dr. L.I.O.N, and I'm here to aid you in the mastery of total health, spiritual, mental, emotional, physical, and financial. So prepare to have your wellness tank filled up with this podcast. Welcome to another episode of Feed Your Lion. Today's special guest is Preston Anderson.
Hello.
Preston,
hi.
Thank you for joining us today.
Absolutely.
All right.
I'm so excited.
This is cool. So Preston and I actually just met. When did we meet? Like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Is that right?
2 weeks.
Yeah, not very long. So Preston does hair, he does the makeup, he does all the things. Yes. And we just bonded over some Comic-Con stuff, which we'll get into a little later. But
yes.
Let's talk a little bit first, Preston, about your background, where you're from, how you ended up where you're at today, how you came to little old Ashland.
Yes. So I grew up in West Virginia in L.I.O.N, very small town. Mm-hmm. And I came to Ashland like 14 years ago when I met my husband, David, which, was so long ago now, but it seems like I've been here my whole life.
Yeah.
And as far as what I do and stuff, I never thought I was going to be in the beauty industry at all, okay? I liked art. I wanted to do art. I wanted to get maybe into fashion or something.
Yeah.
And growing up in a small town, and it was also before the internet was the internet,
sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So you didn't have Instagram and stuff like you do now, and being an artist and stuff, you didn't really know what to do with it and how to make money at it and stuff. So I went to college for marketing, actually.
Okay.
And
that's a good gig, though, to go. You can do anything with that.
You really can.
Yeah.
It was business marketing. I figured I could do something in business or hopefully marketing or something creative.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I did it for 1 year, and I was already kind of over it.
Yeah.
School just wasn't for me. I love school. I love learning, but I didn't want to be in another structured environment like
sure.
that. So everyone there kind of was like, you should go into hair. You're so creative. And I was like, I don't know anything about hair. I don't even know how to braid.
What kind of art were you into when you were doing that?
Well, I love to draw.
Okay.
That's my favorite thing.
Okay.
I draw. I like to use charcoal or pencil or even pen.
Do you still do it?
I still do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Not as much as I would love to do it, but I'm trying to get more into it now. The last couple of years here, I've been trying to dedicate some time to just drawing and sketching.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay, so they suggested hair, and you're like, what is this? I don't know about this.
I literally did not know anything about it. So I said, I'll just go and interview with the local beauty school and see what it's about.
Yeah.
And so I went down there, and they were really cool, and they said, well, you really like fashion and art and all this creative stuff. Who do you think does the hair and makeup in these campaigns? So who do you think does all this stuff? And I was like, oh, well, I guess hairdressers, right?
Yeah.
And so I thought about it, and I talked to my mom and dad about it, and I was like, they're not going to be into this. They're going to be like, no, you'll never make any money. And they actually, surprisingly, were supportive.
What do they do? What do your parents do?
My dad was a foreman in a coal mine.
Okay, so tough guy.
Yes,
Okay,
very macho man.
Yeah.
And my whole family was in the coal mining industry.
Really? Okay,
yes.
that's West Virginia, though. I mean, that's
absolutely is.
Yeah.
We had one barber in town.
Okay.
And I think everyone thought I was going to be a barber. And I was like, I think I'm going to do a little bit more than that.
I love it.
I interviewed with them, I thought about it, and we went ahead with it. My parents luckily were able to help me go to school for that, and I was the first to graduate, the first to get a job, and I was probably one of the last ones to stick with it in my class, because a lot of people don't continue in that industry forever. But I'm very proud that I've continued with it. Now when I moved to Ashland, I did take a break from a corporate setting, and I just worked in banking, which is weird, right? It's so weird. It's so boring to me.
Yeah.
But I did it, and I learned a lot about business in that job, which I love. And I think that sometimes the journey of life puts you in weird situations that you don't think you'll need it, but you do.
It comes into play later.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm going to interject with that because one of my favorite speakers I ever heard, it's the guy who does that Dirty Job show.
Oh my gosh, Mike Rowe.
Mike Rowe. Listen, I heard him speak at this conference one time, And he was talking about that because he had the weirdest like shift of jobs. Like he was doing theater for a while, and then he went on selling like the QVC or whatever. He said the interview was the weirdest thing. He said you had to go in and describe a pencil, talk about a pencil for 10 minutes, how you would sell a pencil. And that was like their interview. But anyways, but then he ended up and he said all these things that were so like random and didn't seem like they at all, like it all came into play with like what I do and like with my passion. So like I completely get that, because I think sometimes that life is not always that straight trajectory about things. There's all these.
No, it's a roller coaster. It's a roller coaster with lots of loops and lots of turns, and you're just like, where am I going?
Yes.
And I'll tell you the coolest story here. Okay.
Okay.
So I was in banking for 5 years, and I was really good at what I did. And I met a lot of cool people. One of my best friends now is still in banking. He's really cool. And the weirdest part was there was a time in mine and David's life where he had lost his job, and I lost my job in the same week because the bank went a different direction with my position. And you know how they are. Sometimes they just cut the position out and you're just out there. So I had done hair on the weekends, freelance, for years. I never stopped doing hair. I just wanted to build a clientele while I was moving here. So I moved here, I did all that for 5 years, and I was at that precipice of like, I'm either going to just stay in banking and like make something out of that, or go really creative and do this. And when we both lost our jobs at the same time, it was very scary because we had a lot of bills coming in, and we had never been without work like that. And so I interviewed at Best Title. And I had the job already, and I just hadn't formally accepted it yet. And I just thought to myself, I could either sit here in a corporate setting forever in a cubicle answering emails, or I could take a chance and do it full time again. So I did it, and I went and actually worked at Master Cuts, which a lot of people thought was kind of like a lower grade salon. It wasn't that, it just was not ran right. So I went there, and the manager at the time moved out, and I was lucky to get that position as manager, and I was able to turn it around the best I could. And then they eventually just went out completely. And then when they went out, I went to Ulta, and Ulta was the best thing that ever happened, because Ulta is such a huge brand, and they have so many like career options for people if they want to do things, that I fell in love with it. And it gave me the support for my social media, because they were all about social media and like how to do that as a business person behind the chair. Because when I was at the other place, Master Cuts, I was starting to take pictures and do videos and stuff, because that was like right when, I don't know if you know Guy Tang, but Guy Tang is a hair artist on YouTube, and he was doing a lot of YouTube tutorials, and YouTube tutorials were everywhere at that time. And so I was inspired, and I was like here finicking with like the light and everything that I had in my little salon, and trying to do things like and make it cool. And I just started posting. And then when I went to Ulta, they were able to give me the kind of structure I need to be like, hey, you should do this, use these hashtags, brand yourself this way better. And I got to meet a really cool guy named Justin, who is on their design team. He's actually from LA, I think, that area. And I got to work with him at a hair show. I assisted him. It just helped elevate my career to the stratosphere. I quickly moved up to their elite status, and now I've been given so many opportunities from that stuff. Because I think too, like, my banking experience gave me the know-how to run my business behind the chair. Because as a creative person, you don't get the structure in school, really. And you don't, like, artists don't know how to run businesses sometimes. We just want to be the artist, and we want to do all the creative fun stuff, but you still got to know how to do it right, and make it work for yourself. There's a lot more to it than just you can be the best at something, and if you don't have that marketing piece, or you're not known, it doesn't matter how good you are. I mean, if you're not out there, and that's just the truth. And I think you put the nail on the head with that, because there's so many talented people, and they're not marketing people, don't know who they are, they don't know what they're doing, and like that's a big part of it, especially in the digital world we're in. I mean, that's just. Oh yes, and I feel like if you aren't in the know a little bit, you're just going to be left behind.
Yes.
Because things are moving very, very fast.
Rapidly.
And so fast that your head spins sometimes.
Well, especially with like in the tech, like you're talking about. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean that stuff. I mean, even from what it was when we were like in our teens, 20s to like, you know, I'm just like, it's completely different. Like you really like, and you don't have to know it yourself, but have the right people who can help you. I mean, that's it. Having a team.
Yes. And I'm an advocate too. Like I love to help people. And I've always said, you know, I'm an advocate for you are your own brand.
Yeah.
In whatever it is you decide to do in life.
Yeah.
Especially if you're creative though, because if you're creative, and I'll just speak in hairdresser terms, like hairdressers are their own brand because your people go to you.
Yep.
They're not really going to your salon. They're not really going to your environment you're in. That's nice. But I know people that work in the prettiest salons in town, or they may have everything looking great on the surface, but they don't know how to brand themselves to their clients.
Yeah.
And they kind of lose out on business that way, because you've got to think when you are in this kind of industry I'm in, you know, people really look at you as like an inspiration sometimes. They're looking at you on everything you're doing.
Yeah.
And in this new world we're in, right, everything's online. If you're not posting your work, if you're not like taking a picture of your work sometimes and putting it out there and trying to do that, people, it's like a review on a restaurant, right? Like they want to see what you have, they want to see what you're about. And if you're not doing that in today's world, you may not get the business that you could get. Even though you're creative and amazing at what you do, people want to see your stuff now. And I feel like in 24, there's just no excuse for it anymore.
Yeah, I know. You're right. And I even like, for me, I need to be so much better. I'm like the worst about it. Like I keep saying I'm going to like hire somebody to like just follow me around, like just to post stuff all the time, because like, you know, I'll do it like here and there, but it's not consistent like it needs to be.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you were coming from this small town in West Virginia and, you know, you had decided on this, did you get, I know you said your family, like immediate family was pretty, did you get a lot of pushback? And like, because that's not like typical for that area.
Well, I always say when I came into my family's life, they probably didn't know what to do with me. Because my family is just very, you know, traditional.
Yeah.
Would be a great word probably. Like everyone was just kind of like, you know, going down the steady stream of life. And then I came out this very creative person.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of people who are artistic in my family and stuff. Like I've had uncles and aunts that can draw and do things like that and stuff. But like, I think I just got hit with all of that. And then, you know, being gay on top of it was a hard thing, because my grandpa was a pastor. He was a Baptist pastor, and you know,
mine was a Pilgrim Holiness pastor. So I get it. Yeah,
you get it.
Yes.
And you know, just being in a place where there's not a lot of culture or diversity, especially before like the internet was what it is now.
Yeah.
You know, it was just very hard, and it can be very scary, because you learn, like, to me, like, I can just speak from my own experience and my own truth. Like just being very little and knowing that you are different and that you see guys in a different way than other guys do, right? You are just terrified.
Yeah.
And you know, you're told that you're going to go to burn in hell forever and all these things. And you know, the religious trauma can be real.
Yeah.
And I've worked through that as an adult a lot. I do believe that I have a wonderful relationship with God now.
Yeah.
In a beautiful way that people probably don't understand, and they probably think I'm the devil, but that's okay. That's their opinion. But I did deal with a lot of stuff. I had, you know, the typical, you know, name calling and things like that sometimes. But I will say I've always stood my ground.
Yeah.
I've never really I never put up with bullies.
Yeah.
I never have.
Yeah.
And I just stood my ground on it. And I was the first person to really kind of come out in my school as you know, the man. There was a girl, and then there was kind of me.
Yeah.
And then there was a couple other guys and stuff. And that was cool, but it was also terrifying. It was mostly terrifying for my family, because and I, you know, as a teenager, you don't care. You know, you're just rebellious, and you're just like, you know, I'm going to live my truth, and, you know, screw all you guys. And, but, you know, I look at it now, I know that my family, definitely my parents were just worried about my safety. Yeah. You know, like they they were trying to comprehend something that they didn't understand either.
Yeah.
And, you know, looking back now as an adult, you're like, they were just trying to like safeguard me. But my parents never really gave me like a ton of crap over that.
Yeah.
They just were worried a lot.
Yeah.
And I can understand that. I think that is valid. But I just never, like, I never was one to shy away from who I was, especially when I got a little older.
Yeah, you were talking about that before we started, even just like the being authentic and being true to who you are. And I mean, I completely can understand that. I mean, I was a different way. I was a little bit older, you know, when I started like dating like that. Like I went to a Christian school, so you got kicked out for being gay. Where I went to Mount Vernon, which I loved. I had a great time there, but I mean, it was like, I mean, you literally like. There was a chick I knew, full ride scholarship in soccer, straight A student, got caught with her girlfriend, and they like academic probation, lost her scholarship, everything, and she was like a straight A. I mean,
and what's crazy to me, and this is always what's crazy to me, is like as a teenager too, I got kicked out of Sunday school for asking the questions, right? The hard questions.
Yeah, sure.
It's like, how can you be about love and acceptance and not judging people, and then kick people out immediately because they're different than what you think they should be?
Well, yeah.
Shouldn't you be the advocate of love and acceptance and like trying to do things for people? But like, to me, when you push a whole group of people out of society just because they love someone of the same sex, that is a war on love and kindness. And you are pushing people away from, you know, the God that you serve, right? Like you should never push people away from what you think is God.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, and religious trauma can completely understand that. I mean, there was a lot of that for me too, and like dealing with that. So I completely, and as an adult, I had to really like do some deprogramming and really like figure that out. So I completely understand that's a real thing for a lot of people. And I do think that the church, because I'm the same way now, I feel like my relationship with God is better than it has been because it is more authentic. Like it's a real like thing, and it's more tangible to me, you know.
Absolutely.
And I do think that we've done a lot of damage in church in general, and I can say that as a member of a church and who's been through that, and so can you, you know. But you know, and I don't advocate for people to watch my life. I mean, I still curse like a sailor sometimes, and you know, there's still things that, you know, aren't the best that I need to do better at, but like still there's a real relationship there, you know, and I feel like there's a real like me trying to grow in that. And I think that did come through like a personalized relationship and having to separate like opinions from like what do I feel is my truth type of thing. So you know, but
I love that.
Yeah, so that was kind of a diversion for what we were talking about. But
the church will come for us. But I want to touch on it just a minute, because I think that especially for the gay community, we have to tear down so many walls that are built up around us growing up, that religion is one of those big giant things that we have to tackle as a gay person, because you're taught in so many religious circles that you are an abomination. You are wrong. Your inherent nature is wrong. Like, you're a murderer. You know what I mean? Like, no, I'm not. I just want to be with somebody that's the same as me. And I think it shows the resilience of our community, of like how we can get through those obstacles on our own, because no one tells you about how hard it is to deprogram yourself from that. It's very hard. And a lot of people don't make it. And I think that's why so many people in the gay community just try to find love and acceptance in the world. You know, they try to go out there and find a way in a place that doesn't have their best interest at hand. Sometimes
though, even like in the gay community, I don't know, like sometimes I don't feel like, I guess that sounds kind of funny, but like I don't even talk so much about being a gay person. Like, this is probably like, because I'm just married to a woman. I don't want that to at all be
I don't even think about it either.
Like, I don't want that to be the focus of like, because there's so many other things like I want to be like known for. Like, you know, and I don't ever want that to be like something that's like, oh, that's the first thing people like, no, like that's just a part of me. Like there's a lot more, crazy in there than that. You know what I mean? Like, and
that's the little tip of the
yeah, that's just a little like, and I guess I want to be known for my like work, for my like vision, you know? And, and then, and like too, sometimes I think like the gay community gets a bad rap because you get like, I don't know. I feel like the things that are like shown sometimes are like the like really like extreme stuff.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, I don't know. Like I'm just trying to work my butt off and like get somewhere. Like, you know, just like everybody else. Like I don't know. So that sometimes like bothers me too. Like I don't want the association of being like, you know, here I'm burning down buildings or something. I don't know if that makes
like
sense.
Like the crazy person in leather with a giant flag.
But like I'm also like, I also like stand up for things too. Cause I'm like, no, like, you know, if somebody like, how many times like for me, people like will be like, oh, I'm like, no, it's my wife. Like, but I just like, it's just a casual thing. Like, cause I don't want it to be like you just need to like, you correct it and move on. Like it's
absolutely,
I don't know. Like,
and I think I'm just a huge person that believes that you should be the change you want to see in the world. I think that if we just normalize our lives, it will be normalized because it is normal. Like I've worked so hard to not be in labels. I hate labels. I absolutely find it fascinating that I feel like younger people are really into labeling themselves, and that's okay for them. But for me, I've always worked to not be in a label. I wear eyeliner. I love eye makeup. I love makeup in general. I wear crazy outfits. I'm an artist. I do, but then I can dress down too. You know what I mean? It doesn't. My sexuality doesn't define me.
What you're doing.
Exactly. But unfortunately, I feel like because we are born gay or whatever it is we are, we're thrusted into the ambassador of the community position, and you're always, especially growing up in a small town like I did.
No, and I did too.
Because I got bombarded with questions about what it was to be gay, and I'm like, this is just who I am. You know what I mean? It's just like when you have a crush on a little girl, right, or whatever. When you're little, you know, that's how I felt with guys, and they're just like, what, you know, like,
I know.
Brain is totally meltdown, you know.
I know.
Just like here, I'm like 16, trying to be an ambassador for the community, you know, like in a small town with no internet, funny. You know what I mean? And it's just like, I don't know. I just feel like I've tried to tear down that stupid label of like being defined by your sexuality. It's just crazy to me.
I totally agree. So now though, your cool thing. Should we talk about Comic-Con?
Yeah.
Okay, so Preston and I were just at the same Comic-Con. I'm going to tell my cool experience first because this is cool.
Absolutely.
Because Preston got to work on all the celebs and stuff, and you're going to continue this and continue, and I'm hoping to get on board with his train here. But so I have been obsessed with Comic-Cons forever because it's just fun. So fun, everybody's cool.
They're so fun.
There's so many cool people, but. Anyway, so I went to the Lexington Comic-Con that they just had, and I had always liked that Gladiator show growing up. I wanted to be on the Gladiators.
The American Gladiators?
Yes.
I can't believe they were there.
I wanted to be on the American Gladiators. So when they had Ice and Nitro there, I got super pumped about that because Ice was actually my favorite Gladiator, like watching the show. Yes.
Well, she's beautiful.
She is, and she's still beautiful. She's in her 60s now.
Can you believe?
No, she doesn't.
I mean, seeing her in person, you're just like, wow. You know, like,
I hope I said that right. I think 50s or 60s. I don't know. She's older. She's probably.
You don't want to get beaten up by an American Gladiator.
I don't. I probably am. I probably need to get that right. I don't know. But anyways, so I went up there, and it was Sunday morning. I only got to go a day, and I just really wanted to meet them, and I wanted to see Barbara Eden because the genie is cool, and she's
iconic.
She's 92. I did look that up. She's 92 and
me
still
and her
looks
have
amazing.
the same birthday.
You have the same birthday?
The same birthday.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. All right, we're gonna get. So, anyways, it was not like too busy on the floor when I got there, so there's only a couple people. So I went up there, and we just all started talking because Dan and Lori, that's their names, they were right beside each other. And so we started talking, and we just had like this conversation 30 to 45 minutes long, which you normally don't get that much time, but I happened to be there Sunday morning early, and it was the right time. And so, you know, we're talking about relationships, we're talking about pellets and stuff, because I do the hormone pellets, and I mean, sexual health. We were talking about all kinds of stuff, you know. And I'm like telling them all the other stuff I do, because now like we can do like the genetics and GI testing and stuff and ship kits, so it doesn't matter where people are. Like I can do that. And so anyways, like at some point after, we had just been talking, and they were cool as could be, they were talking about the new stuff they were doing too. And Lori's like, just give me your phone. And I was like, okay. And I gave her my phone, and she puts her number on my phone.
Were you just dying?
I was dying, because I'm like, this is my favorite. This is my favorite gladiator. I've been to tons of cons, and I've never got a number like that. But I don't usually get to talk like that. Like you don't normally have these full-on conversations like that. And I think if you had those more experience, but a lot of times there's these big lines, and you get 2 seconds, and sign whatever. And so anyways. And I was like, so I was just texted her like something, and she responded. So I'm like, okay, so we're good. So and so Yvonne, who ditched us tonight, I'm saying it loud and clear, she ditched us. Yvonne was doing massages.
Yes.
She does massages, and you were doing the hair and makeup back in the green room. With the celebs. So you got to work there. And so I thought my experience was cool, but you had like way more of like hands-on the whole weekend. So talk about that, how you got that opportunity, like, how you want to continue, that kind of thing.
Well, it's an amazing experience. Let me just put that out there. And I have to give all the thanks to Jared Greer, who owns the Inner Geek, because he has been a client of mine for years. So the story is, I've done Jared's hair for a long time. And for a while, I didn't even realize that he was a part of Comic-Cons like he is. I knew he owned the Inner Geek. And then I knew that Huntington had a Comic-Con, but I didn't know there was the correlation with Lexington for a long time, because I'm just the type of person, like we would get like in other conversations when he get his hair done, and we wouldn't talk about work all the time. But sometimes we did. And so I'd done his hair for years, and then I figured out that he did Lexington Comic-Con. And I was just like, oh, that's so cool, all that stuff. And I also have a person, I don't like to press people on like, hey, can you give me like a job? You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be like abrupt that way. But it so happened that last year, Jamie Presley, the actress, was needing hair and makeup if she was to come to Comic-Con. And he's like, I know a guy, let me call my hairstylist. And he knows that I like to do social media, and I'm always posting my work and all that stuff all the time, and I make my little videos and stuff. And he was like, I think you would be really good at it. And he's like, I need you to call me immediately. This is how it went. I got this message, okay? I feel like I'm rambling on my words.
I love this. I love it.
So I'm at home. I'm off work that day. I get a message on my phone. Hey, call me right now. And I'm like, what? So I call him like, is everything okay? Do you need a haircut like right now? What's happening? And he's like, no, I just need to know if you're interested. I have an actress. You may not know her. I don't know if you know her, Jamie Presley. And I'm thinking like, yes, absolutely. I know who that is, obviously. Hello. So, and he's like, she needs hair and makeup if she's coming to our con. And I thought maybe you'd want to do it. But if you don't, I mean, it's just up to you. And I'm like, yes, please. 100%. Let me die inside first, and then I'll regroup. So it worked out. And then so I get everything ready. We get prepared for it all. And the week before I'm supposed to go down, she cancels.
Oh, gosh.
And I was like, my heart sank.
And
I was like, oh my gosh, I've done all this prep. I was all excited. I've told my clients like, hey, I'm going to get to go to this cool thing and hopefully work on a celebrity. Because, my clients were so supportive, obviously. Like I have the best clients in the universe. They love all this stuff for me, and I get to tell them all the fun stories. So Jared was like, we're going to still have you come. And I'm like, wow, thank you. Because a lot of people would have been like, I'm sorry, we just can't go through with it. We don't want to spend the money. Jared is amazing. So he allowed me to come down. He still paid me for the job. He's like, you do whatever you want to do. He's like, we'll just set you up in the green room, and whatever you feel like you need to do, you can do it. We'll give you all the freedom to do what you need to do. And I'm like, great. I'll be a touch-up artist. So I set up my own little table. It was totally like trying to figure it out as we went, right? So I set up a table, I had a cloth on it. I brought everything I think I could possibly bring. and I got to meet all these wonderful people. And the first thing, okay, I get down there, I've got all this stuff lined out, I got all my hair stuff and all my makeup stuff out. Steve from Blue's Clues walks in, okay, and I'm like, wow, here's the living icon, Blue's Clues. And he's like, do you have like a special type of glue for a mustache? And I'm like, what? And I'm just like, no, but I will figure this out. Well, I really wanted to wear a mustache and just rip it off in front of the kids or something. I'm like, okay, so my husband David's with me. So I'm like, I don't care what you need to do, but you find whatever that glue is. And he spent like 2 hours trying to find this glue or whatever. And so we get back and like half of the day is by and I'm like, I found your glue. And he was like, oh, thank you, you know, and everything. And I really appreciate it, all that stuff. And I'm like, oh, no, probably. He's like, I don't even, it's fine if you didn't get it. But I'm like, I will do whatever I need to do.
That's great.
So, but I got to work on a lot of different actors that year. But I got this feedback that they don't ever get that kind of treatment at these places.
Which is so weird to me.
It's so weird. You would think that they would.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, hey, here's my information, you know, whatever I'm doing. And, you know, I would love to do this more. So Jared got such great feedback that he's like, we're going to keep you on. And we're going to have you come next year, like the whole day, like all 3 days.
Yeah.
So they promoted it a little bit more for me and stuff too. And this year I had a much better setup. I had two big tables they furnished for me. They dressed them up for me. I had a lot of room to spread my stuff out. And I was in a different part of the green room, which worked out better too. And we had talked about bringing a massage therapist on, which Yvonne was amazing with that. And that really helped elevate it too, I feel like, because they're jet lagged, they're tired, they travel constantly. And having her there really provided an even better service. Yeah. And also kind of segued them into my services because they were able to really see what I could do and things like that. So I got to work on a lot of authors and cartoonists and stuff like that too, which was cool. And those people travel to all the cons, so hopefully they'll spread the word.
Get the word out. Yes, because it's a small thing. Like the people that do those are really like a small. Yeah.
Yes, and I feel like I found my niche because I love art and stuff so much, and like I love Halloween and costumes and all that, and they have the costume contest, and I feel like I could do a lot with these Comic-Cons, so I'm hoping to do more of these events. But the big thing this year was working on Barbara Eden and Priscilla Presley. Yeah. So I get there, and Barbara's assistant Patterson, who is a very cool person. He is just, I don't know how to describe him. He is just really fun. Yeah. But kind of crazy, but in a fun way.
Yeah.
So anyway, they had told him that they had a makeup artist on hand and a hair person on hand and stuff. And he was like, but I do all that for her. And they were like, but we have that, you know, if you need it. And so he was like, yeah, we'll do touch-ups. So he had agreed to bring Barbara in for that, and I got to work on her, and it was amazing. And then Priscilla was there. Well, I didn't dream that I would get to work on Priscilla, right? Yeah. Because I just imagined that they have a glam team, right? Yeah. But sometimes they don't. And she was really enthralled with the whole setup. She loved it. She told me that it was the prettiest thing that she'd seen. Like she'd never seen anything like that in a green room for them before.
How cool is that?
I'm like, I wish I had that on camera because people won't believe me, but she said that. And luckily I got some really cool pictures with her and a little bit of a video because you don't get a lot of time with them. That's the thing. You got to really know what to do. But she sits in my chair and I'm having this like out of body experience, right? Like this hair and fashion icon is in your chair. Yep. It's Priscilla Presley. Yep. And, you know, I'm working on her and she was so nice and she looked at all my stuff and she sits down. I'm like, what do you want to do? And she's like, you tell me what to do. You tell me what you want to do. And I'm like, okay, well, you look amazing. So, you know, we're just going to freshen everything up and make you look really cute. And she was like, you do hair? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, can you also like fluff my hair a little? And like, you know, I was like, yes.
Yes, I can.
Absolutely, we can.
Yes, I can.
We can do that all day. And so it was amazing. And her and Barbara were both really great. To be as like iconic as both of them are.
Absolutely.
they are so nice. And I got to go and sneak out of the green room and take pictures with them too, which was really cool and stuff. And
see, that's cool though.
yes, it was amazing.
And you've got the total setup now for Lexington, and hopefully some more.
Hopefully some more, yeah. I would like to create my own little glam team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
See, I'm trying to get on your glam
Yes.
team, doing IVs.
That
and
would
like
be amazing.
Because like you just said, they're jet lagged and everything else. So like,
oh, yeah.
like,
yes.
getting some B vitamins or a little immune complex booster with some like C's and zinc, like people, I think they would dig that too while they're sitting there and getting a massage or getting their hair and makeup done and running some fluids in them.
Well, and we had a person have a heart attack this year.
See, and that would
and you could have been there until the people came, you know what I'm saying?
Got them some aspirin, checked their vitals, and
absolutely.
And that's the thing with like telemed, you can get any medicine if they're sick or something. I mean, like there's a lot of things like would be kind of cool that I think it could.
Absolutely.
Which would be fun because I go to those all the time anyways, and I've set up booths for my stupid shirts and stuff anyways that I like. So, why not do the...
Why not? Why not be in the green room?
Why not? Exactly. So, anyway.
I think, too, like, the great thing that Jared does is he has food catered and all that stuff, like hot food from Barbecue City, or City Barbecue, I'm sorry. Every day.
Yeah.
And he has set a tone, like Lexington is one of the best to go to for their green room. I kept hearing that for 2 years now, that his green room is the best setup ever. And with me, and especially with L.I.O.N there, and if you ever come, I think it will just spread the message more that, hey, this is the place you all want to book at, and other places need to be doing it. And we know a guy that does it, and
absolutely. That's how you get into stuff like that. I mean, that's 100% how you get into that.
Absolutely.
So I love what you're doing.
And the hope is that we can take some of that stardust and bring it to Ashland.
Yes, and we've talked about that with the Paramount. We've talked about like having a similar package because they're all the time, and we're right here. Like
we're right here.
The L.I.O. and the salon, we're right like beside the Paramount. These people could come, they could get the full like kit and caboodle. We could bring things to them. I mean, we could shut down and have them here, like whatever. Like so much of an opportunity there with that too.
Yeah, I mean, we could even like, I've got a setup where I can travel.
Yeah.
So I can bring my stuff straight to them.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like you have your stuff right here. I've got mine at the house. We can totally meet at the Paramount and make them, if they're at the Delta staying, we can meet them in the hotel.
Absolutely.
I think too, like, people don't realize that celebrities, there are celebrities and they're used to being pampered in some ways, but also they're just normal people, and they like to be treated well, obviously, but like, I don't think people realize that they're just treated like normal people behind the scenes sometimes. Like they're just like, I was shocked to be told that like a lot of green rooms have just a bucket of ice with pop in it and like some cold sandwich trays. And I'm like, for Priscilla Presley, what? Like, you know what I mean? Like for these big people. And it just, I don't know. I think that if these venues could elevate and do more, they could get better bookings too, and just have a much better experience for everybody.
Absolutely. 100%. I love it. I love it. We talked about that before. I think it's great.
Absolutely. And I definitely want to work with the Paramount.
Well, and too, like I said, for me, like I've talked about athletic events forever, especially since we're doing like the gym stuff and everything else. Like, like, and you too, like when they do the bodybuilding shows stuff, hair, makeup's huge. They get dehydrated.
Wrestlers.
Yes. Like there's all kinds of stuff like that, anyways, but there's lots of cool opportunities out there. That's why I think like in general professions, like people just need to think outside the box a little bit. Like, where are these opportunities? What do I enjoy doing? And like, and again, it's that blending of these experiences that you do. Like, people can be like, how does Comic-Con relate to health? Well, here, like, there's ways to like intermix these things that you like.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you've got people from all different walks of life coming to Comic-Cons, and you've got authors, you've got writers, you've got same thing, I guess. But you have illustrators, you've got the big celebrities coming in, that from movie stars and to like voice actors to wrestlers.
Absolutely.
Wrestlers, need a lot of help because they're beaten up, they're broken down, and I think if you can think outside of the box, you have a golden ticket to get in to do beautiful things for everybody.
So what's your, I know you have a vision. What's your vision look like for the future of everything with your business and your brand?
So I'm still with Ulta. I think Ulta can provide great opportunities as well for me and stuff. But Ulta does give me the freedom like to do these events, which is wonderful. So I'm going to expand, still do my clients, still have my home base here in Ashland, of course. But my vision is to become more of a traveling stylist to events, hopefully with you and L.I.O.N accompanying me and having our own wellness and beauty glam squad ready to go for everyone. And getting booked for those events, still having my base in Ashland, and hopefully, you know, the sky's the limit with that. I mean, we could go anywhere with that. You could do any kind of event with that. So that's a vision I have. And then also hopefully partnering with all of the businesses in town. You know, like I love cross promoting stuff. I want to also work on my art. So I think with Comic-Cons eventually, like with my vision, I could have, maybe David could help me do a booth or something and sell some of my artwork and prints and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
And support Ashland, of course, you know, local artists from Ashland, getting their name out in the world is amazing, you know, and we already have some people that have come from Ashland and Flatwoods and stuff. Billy Ray, of course, obviously. The Judds, all, you know, Loretta Lynn was not far from here. You know, there's a lot of musical history here and stuff.
Absolutely.
So I would love to get like Barbara here at the Paramount. I would love to get Priscilla here at the Paramount. I think it would be amazing to do that.
I love the vision.
Yes.
Love it.
We need a vision.
We do. We all need a vision.
And Ashland needs a refresh, I think. I think Ashland needs that.
Yeah. More than just some roads, right?
More than all the roundabouts.
So before we start wrapping up a little, is there anything else that you want to add or that we didn't like touch on that you can think of? I know we've kind of jumped around, so.
Well, it is my first podcast, so I hope I didn't ramble too much about that.
No, you didn't. It was perfect. I think I really love it. Zach's shaking his head. He's a podcast professional, so no.
Well, I mean, really, I think we covered a lot of fun things. I'm an open book. I love to talk about a lot of different
the gamut,
stuff.
just like me.
Yes.
People are like, what is this podcast? It's like, it's a health and wellness, but I'm like, I just like, you know, whatever interests me, we'll talk about. Like,
well, part of health and wellness is beauty and talking about stuff that's going on.
Listen, I think like doing things you're passionate about and being creative and figuring out businesses that are unique, that's all to me part of, wellness is a broad topic to me. So this podcast, I feel like can be all of those things.
Absolutely. Well, mental health is a big thing.
Absolutely.
So you got to get stuff off your chest. I mean, that's the whole point of it.
Absolutely. 100%.
And I really would love to see more creative stuff in Ashland because we are a small town. We don't have a ton of like jobs and businesses necessarily, but we have what we have and you got to work with what you have. And the roundabouts are a situation, but they'll be pretty and we'll work with the pretty and we'll make it work, I guess. But like, I think if we could work with our local artists and creative people and get them on some kind of meeting with whoever's in charge of stuff and bringing more art and creativity to the town would be great. I think we could do a lot
and
of
it's
cool
better
things.
than it was when I first moved here with that. Like it's already like that's, you know what I mean? So continue. So 100%. Well, Preston, I appreciate you being here tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And as always, we're going to end with our quote. So today's quote is, be true to yourself. No, I messed that up already, Zach. You got to cut this. Today's quote is, to be true to yourself, you must risk being disliked by others for not living up to their expectation of you. Eric Ping. And we'll see you guys the next time.
Bye.